けがで読み直している。で読み直している。で読み直している。で読み直している。で読み直している。でキスしたいと。で読み直している。で読み直している。だけがで読み直している。したいとで読み直している。で読み直している。だけがで読み直している。で読み直している。で読み直している。で読み直している。で読み直している。でキスしたいとで読み直している。で読み直している。だけがで読み直している。で読み直している。
Welcome to the city of the unwritten. A city that's given so much. A city of people who aren't afraid to get their hands dirty. A city of makers, entrepreneurs, musicians, artists. A city of laughter, memories, and people who will welcome others in with a cup of heartwarming handmade coffee. A city of people, young and old, working together. People who explore, live, and grow together. But what makes this place special? Being listed year after year as one of the best places to raise a family. Maybe because we have a community recognized for its safe neighborhoods and revered for its low unemployment. A city where adventure is everywhere you look, where you can pioneer your own story. We've opened a new page to write on for the generations ahead. Welcome to Bismarck. Come write your story.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy 1 Million Cups Wednesday. My name is Tyler. I'm with the North Dakota Small Business Development Centers, and I'll be your MC this morning. We're going a little off path in terms of one MC this morning with a real treat for you. We have folks from United Tribes Technical College and part of their powwow dancing committee that'll be performing and telling us about the powwow today. First, we need to get through just a little bit of house cleaning. First, very important, it's National Waffle Day today, August 24th. Also the last day of summer today. BPS is back in session. Students going back tomorrow. I know. That summer took forever too, didn't it? So that's why I'm wearing shorts today, because the last day of summer, so we're keeping a little festive. It's National Waffle Day today. We had a breakfast last year at Copper Dog Cafe in Mandan. The waffles are excellent there. If you're looking for a place to celebrate today, I'd recommend that. Another one of my favorites, Little Cottage here in Bismarck, is a great little diner. So try to check out one of those establishments today. And I do have a question for you. Keeping with the summer theme, Kate, this is especially good for you, I think. What do you call a waffle on a California beach? It's a San Diego. Got it. Sorry. I know it was awful, or maybe waffle rather, but anyways, happy National Waffle Day. Okay, kind of a big week for us at 1 Million Cups here in Bismarck too. We've expanded our sponsors to 12 sponsors now. We just had Plains Commerce Bank come on board this last week, so we cannot fit all of our sponsors on one slide anymore. So we now have to have two slides on board. So we run pretty lean here, organized by a volunteer team, but we do have to pay for this facility. We pay for some coffee, pay for some other things as well. These folks help us do that, and like to see 1 Million Cups continue in Bismarck Mandan. So if you see or know anybody from Plains Commerce Bank, make sure you say you value 1 Million Cups and you thank them for coming on board, and of course any of these other organizations as well. All right, so what is 1 Million Cups? 1 Million Cups is a free networking and educational program we put on every week here at 9 a.m. Do we have any first-timers here this morning? Okay, quite a few. Awesome. Glad to have you guys here. Hope to see you back. But yeah, it's a free networking and educational program where we put an entrepreneur, a small business owner, a nonprofit leader, in this case, folks from an educational institution, talking about either an opportunity they're pursuing, an event they're trying to launch, some good work in Bismarck Mandan they're trying to get done. So they pitch their idea, engage in our community for feedback. We do a Q&A afterwards, asking them supportive, inquisitive, critical questions. The idea is we want to support folks doing good work in Bismarck Mandan and create an ecosystem around them that gives them the best chance to succeed. So, of course, there's coffee too. So the question we're asking every week is, can we change the face of our startup community by connecting local entrepreneurs over 1 million cups of coffee? Yes, and the answer is yes. Yeah. Okay. Afterwards, we'll have Luann and Brent from United Tribes talking today. We're going to have some Native American performers, some powwow performers, and that's going to be fantastic. And looking forward to that. Afterwards, there will be a Q&A session. Who's our mic runner this morning? Kate's on the mic this morning, so if you have a question, raise your hand. Kate will get the big mug in your hand to ask that question. Community announcements this morning. Do we have any of those? Anybody with community announcements? Okay, sounds like we have none. That's just fine. Okay, without further ado then, we'll introduce today's first speaker. So Luann Poitra is Communications Specialist for United Tribes Technical College. She's going to come up and tell us a little bit about the powwow and what it means to United Tribes. So let's welcome Luann to the stage.
Thank you, Tyler, for inviting us. You know, we've always talked about getting more out to the public, letting people know about the powwow, and I'm just gonna go over like some brief things. You know, I won't get into. There's a lot of detail into the powwow, but I'll kind of go over briefly. You're gonna run the slideshow, okay? So this is United Tribes Powwow. We're celebrating the 52nd year. Technically it's 53 years, but we lost a year to COVID. You can check our website out for unitedtribespowwow.com, where we'll have like a place where you can find vendor information, stuff about the powwow, hotels in the community. Basically, a powwow is a celebration, a gathering of Native Americans who dance and sing, but basically everyone can come. There's different types of powwows. There's traditional powwows, there's contest powwows, and United Tribes is a contest powwow. So you'll see dancers. The dancers you see will be competing for money and prizes. And so we have, it's always open to the public. It's not, the circle is just like any other church, the powwow circle. It's, you know, sacred to the people. This is a grand entry that you'll see at a powwow when you first come to a powwow. You see the flags coming in, so this is like where you'd want to stand.
We're going to ask each and every
powwow
one of you
etiquette.
to rise and remove your headgear.
And they'll
as we
have all
call
the
upon
veterans
the Eagle Staffs,
come in first,
the
carrying the
veterans,
flags.
as we come forth and get
And
ready
then all
for grand
participating
entry.
dancers
And once
of
again, we also want to say
royalty.
welcome to
We have
Long
powwow
Elk,
royalty.
another drum
Each
group
powwow
that's
in
the
small
house.
towns.
Thank you. Friends and relatives, we
From
have some of the
reservations,
12
other
of some
big
of the
powwows,
best
Denver March,
singing
they all
groups
have
across
royalty
Turtle Island that are
princesses.
here with us
So
this weekend.
you'll see
And
them
the
come in.
championship drum groups have made their way here.
And then
once
we
again,
have,
friends and relatives. As soon as we get
all
the high
dancers.
sign from Rooster Top Sky, our arena director, here we go. We're going to come on down here to Whitetail Boys Grand Entry Time.
So this is what a lot of people usually come to see on Friday night. If you stop out on our first night, you'll see behind the veterans also all the dignitaries.
Once again, we say welcome to our veterans.
So you'll see like the governor,
as they make their way
the
into the
mayor,
arena with the Eagle Feather staffs. The veterans,
different
thank you for your
dignitaries
service.
from different, all
Thank
the
you for
chairmans.
coming here to the United Tribes Technical College Lone Star Veteran Arena.
It's a good night for to see probably one of the biggest grand entries. And if you're media, to come do interviews and whatnot, the first grand entry is a good one to come to. The powwow can be viewed in person. A lot of you can bring your own chairs, but a lot of like the dancers will sit in front, spectators on the bleachers. But it doesn't matter, it's not designated. You'll see the drums. Drums normally have, we have a singer today, but drums usually have like 5 or more singers. You'll see like the beat is it's loud, it's really, grand entry is it's something to take in, like it's really something to see. So basically, United Tribes has been known as to be the last outdoor powwow of powwow season. We used to even have rodeo Uttc tribes. I don't know if people are from Bismarck from way back, but you guys remember that there was a rodeo. Events have changed throughout the years, but it's always the last huge powwow in the Upper Great Plains for the season outdoor. Here's the head staff and the committee members. It takes a lot to put on a powwow. Like, I don't know, Brent and I are probably losing hair. But these are committee members, and you'll see them. The committee plans and puts everything together. And then the head staff kind of drive the powwow throughout. They'll announce. There'll be 2 announcers. If you ever have questions of what's going on, always listen to the announcers. They're constantly talking, giving updates. We have arena directors that direct traffic, tell basically people when to go, what to do. Then we got the judges. And because it's a contest powwow and people are dancing for, I think it's, some dances are like over $1,000 and prize money. We have judges that go through and judge. This is basically what you'll see at a powwow. Numerous types of dancing, jingle dress. We have we have traditional dancing and fancy dancing for you to see today. You'll see colorful regalia. Nobody likes for the regalia to be called costumes. It takes a lot to put into regalia. A lot of people are, kind of mix it up and will say costumes really quick. And no, we prefer regalia. We have vendors. We have food vendors and over 60 arts and crafts and informational booth vendors. So a lot of people in the community come out with their even informational booths we have, but there will be a lot of arts and crafts from people all over the nation that come and sell their artwork and jewelry. The food also is not, just all Indian tacos. We have, I think Chick-fil-A is out this year. We have Chinese food. It's pretty cool. It's like one of the favorites too, the food vendors. The best lemonade. You'll see singers, drum groups all around the circle. They're competing also in a singing contest. So it's not really good to, if you're not part of the drum group, if you're, it's okay to take a picture, but don't go right up because they have backup singers or they got their family. Try to keep a safe distance from the singers. Veterans, we always honor veterans. In fact, United Tribes Arena is Lone Star Arena. It's named after the late President, Dr. Gipp, and he was a veteran. But at every powwow, pretty much everywhere there's Native Americans, you'll see them always honoring the veterans. The veterans are greatly esteemed in Native American culture as they are recognized as protectors of the people. They have earned the right to bring in the staffs and flags during grand entry for their service in the country. American Indians have the highest enlistment in veteran rates of any other race in the nation. So we always honor the veterans, and we have on top of the food vendors, we have free feeds. Breakfast and supper time. Everyone's welcome, but you'll always see first. They'll call up the elderly, the veterans and the elderly to come eat first. Powwow etiquette, the master of ceremonies, like the announcers, they'll always give you guys updates of what's going on, what's happening, and they talk all the time. They're always telling standing during grand entry, but everyone kind of knows to stand when flags go by. Don't allow the alcohol, drugs, the firearms, and when you're taking photographs, always, just ask first. Some people don't want to be photographed. Also, the dancers try not to touch the regalia unless you ask. Don't if they drop anything from the regalia, don't pick it up, notify them, let them pick it up. And especially the feathers. Good. So you can go to the next one. Other events that we host in United Tribes Week, we have a Tribal Leaders Summit where brings in the communities, the Native American communities, where we talk about topics that are happening on reservations and just like culture, housing, I think medical will be a big one this year, healthcare, just different topics that are happening on the reservation. They meet and try and make decisions and help each other out. And we got the Thunderbird Run that happens on Saturday morning, and where all the runners wake up so early. I don't know if there's probably a lot of runners in here, but oh my God, I had to go take pictures and like, why are you up so early running? Yeah, I believe that's a 10K, a 5K and a 10K. We have our annual golf tournament that really rose in the past few years. We're already maxed out for teams. We have, last year we were counted as the second largest softball tournament in North Dakota. We're right behind McQuaid's. And then we have the youth high school basketball tournament. And so that brings in like students from all over also. We're hoping to grow that this year also. So ways you can participate, I'll probably call Brent up on this, because coming to the powwow, being supportive, purchasing, like the gate passes, all of that, that all proceeds go back to United Tribes, which is it's all given back to student scholarships. And so we do that twice a year with sponsor money, mission money, all of that, all goes back to students. And we have, each year we have the powwow book on like how many students were helped and what things were done. So it's just, it's really good to support the powwow, support the events. Thank you. I'll invite Brent and Giselle. Now Giselle Seaboy is going to be our singer. He is from the Spirit Lake Nation. We got Selma and Palma Reese from MHA. Huh? Yeah, yep. We can also come to stage here. I just want to explain to them what you're going to do here quick. You can come right here.
Hey,
Thank you guys for that. So you've seen the traditional dancing and the fancy dancing today. I'd like to invite everybody, if you want to know more, to Youth Day that happens on Friday afternoon. We invite all fourth grade, right? Fourth graders from the Bismarck Mandang community, and they all come out. But there, it's a good place if you really want to kind of learn what's going to go on the powwow. Later, they'll go over each dance and explain the dances more in detail, and they'll kind of show you what grand entry is, and then also there's participation within that, and then they also do other things like hoop dancing and whatnot, so it's a good thing to see. And that happens on Friday afternoons at 1. Yes.
And then we have Brent Kleinjan with us today, too. He's Campus Relations Director at United Tribes. Brent, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, thanks for having us, Tyler, and thanks, Luann, for helping with the cultural piece. You've got our whole college relations department here today, 2 of us. But, you know, mission-wise, you know, educating the culture, you know, and I'm non-native, so Luann and I complement each other well. But a few years ago, Russ McDonald our president, he had a vision, you know, to make the powwow. There's been years where we'd have the powwow, it would lose a lot of money, you know, and that wasn't the goal. The goal of this is to help our students. We're a college that has a powwow, you know, and not a powwow that has a college at the side. And I think that was kind of what we were known for a long time, which is okay. But we've really come a long way with educating students, and the whole goal of this is to give scholarships to our students at United Tribes. So we've built that up. I came in 4 years ago, worked with President. We do a lot of fundraising, and then just the operationalization, I guess if that's a word, but streamlining all the events so that we're, you know, charging an appropriate amount, managing them, and not trying to make a huge profit, but we don't want to lose a lot of money. So last year, I think, was the best we've ever done with it. Because this event, it's about a $500,000 budget for the weekend, which for any of you that ever put on events, you know, then you've got to have your gate and you've got to have all those things happen to make it a success. But our goal with that is to net about $50,000, to give out $25,000 in scholarships each semester. And that means 25 students get a $1,000 scholarship each semester. Well, last year we did even better, and we've been working hard. So and I see Kevin's here, so we actually started an endowment, or added to our endowment, I guess, but now we have an Events Week endowed scholarship. So we were able to give out 50 and put $80,000 into the scholarship amount, so that, and if we could build that up every year and just make this event sustainable, that's one of the goals. And if you've never been to a powwow, so I went to the powwow as a kid a couple times, but one of my first real experiences at the powwow was working it in 2019. So it's like, oh wow, this is going to be interesting. But Luann coached me along. I'd kind of describe it, if you're non-native, it's kind of like an all-class reunion if you're from a small town. You know, everybody just shows up, they have a good time. There's parts of it that are very traditional and prayers and formal, and then there's parts of it that aren't at all, that are just totally laid back. You know, they have an intertribal where everybody can come out in their jeans and shorts and do a dance with you know, the contestants in their full regalia. Yep. That's a lot of fun. There's honoring. There's tiny tots. I made the mistake of getting roped into that one. So tiny tots, you basically get given a stack of ones, and these little kids come out and they have the tiny tots, and they all get money at the end. So these little kids are just grabbing at you, trying to get. But part of the culture, right? So that's how those kids learn. So the tiny tots come out, and does anybody have little kids? And have you ever had to take them to like a youth soccer game, and they're like their first game, and they're crying on the field? So you have little tiny tots that are crying, and mom's like trying to make them dance, and then you have other ones that look like they're like professional powwow dancers doing it for 20 years, just jamming out. So it's a lot of fun. A little bit about the college. We started class yesterday. We've been around as long as the powwow. We serve Native and non-Native students, but we are a tribal college. Our enrollment's about 93% Native American students and about 7% non-Native. We have men's and women's basketball. Our biggest degree program is actually business right now. We were started, though, as a career and technical center. So we have welding, automotive, a lot of the trades that are needed, in society right now, right? For us to go get the oil changed on our car and for that business to have enough staff. We work hard with the local community to build that up, and with the tribes, the other business and HR. A lot of students will move here to get the education, and then they can hopefully go back to their home community and have the skills and resources needed to contribute and make that better. So move on here, and Luann can take questions.
Okay, we're here for Brent and our performers one more time here. And Giselle and ladies, do you want to join us on stage for the Q&A as well? And it's okay if you don't. But. All right, well, Kate will be our mic runner today, so if you have a question, just raise your hand, and she'll bring that mic to you. So, performances are just beautiful, and there's something just different. Like for me, growing up in North Dakota and going to church or whatever it was that we were at, especially at church, the most we would do, and this is if the church band's really playing a banger, we might stand up and sway back and forth, right? Like, and this is even uncomfortable just doing this. So seeing you ladies getting up here and dance like that, it's remarkable. It really is. One question I have, when you're putting together your regalia, can you speak into how that process works and just like what are the meanings of the different pieces of regalia you have there?
Yes, Catherine.
I don't know.
Like who made your pieces?
Our mom did.
Yeah.
So basically, our mom just made our regalia.
Getting dressed takes about how long?
About like, mine is like 20, 30 minutes because I just need to put on my dress. And with that, I just have my breastplate left. And so, but I have a different dress that requires like a dentilium top, so that's kind of longer. Wait, what was the question?
How long does it take for you to get dressed in your fancy?
For me, it doesn't take that long because I just have a main dress and then just my shawl with it. And then, like, it matters if I want my breastplate sometimes. And I sometimes wear it, but I don't really.
Thank you. And it's interesting to me when we show the video of the powwow and you hear the PA announcer, and he sounds like a baseball stadium. It sounds like a sporting event. And especially when you were dancing, you could see that's an athletic performance. Like I was getting winded watching you. It's a lot of movement. It's a lot of cardiovascular strength you got to have to do that. When you're young, do you learn to do that at a young age? Do you decide you're going to be a traditional dancer or a fancy dancer? And I promise this will be the last question I'll ask you, but I'm just curious about this. Okay, so like when do you start dancing typically?
Well, for babies, it's just like, well, for us, actually, it was when we could walk, when we started walking. I used to dance traditional, and then I went into jingle, and then I just stuck with fancy after that. She said, yeah, we grew up, like, dancing in the circle, so we kind of know. But I like to dance other categories, such as jingle and fancy, but I always stuck with traditional because I liked it.
And then Giselle, you're singing. That was a really awesome performance. It's beautiful music. How about you? Like, when are those songs you've learned? When do you start singing, and how do you kind of become somebody that Luann would call to sing at an event like this?
Well, I started out singing when I was probably about a teenager, but I was always around it through ceremonies and through other cultural events. So it was always around, but I just never partook with my family. And then when I finally got old enough to decide that I wanted to start singing, I started learning. And the change-up songs, so like they call them change-up or second songs, that's what I sang today, was a crow hop and then a double beat. And they have other dances, like a round dance, and what else would you say you would dance to? Like side steps, a ruffle. There's like many other songs that they can dance to, so this is just like a peek in. And like the songs that I sang today were just from the drum group that I sing with, Fort Peck Sioux, and we just got done singing this weekend at Shakopee Powwow, and I'm sure you girls were there too? No? Did you guys go out fair? They were at Crow Creek? Oh, Fort Thompson.
Oh, wow.
There was many powwows going on this weekend, so we were all over.
Well, thank you. Question there.
Yeah, I have a question about the dancing and the choreography, and I guess the drumming too. When you're dancing, how much of that is memorized choreography, or like today, were you just kind of following the beat and moving in accordance with what you've learned about each particular dance, if that makes sense as a question?
For my style, it's not really a choreography. It's just like at a young age, you just start learning from others, like older women I looked up to when they dance fancy. So it's kind of like a freestyle, I guess. But like, you just have to learn. You have to learn the song to stay on beat.
For my style, is basically just up and down, but on hard beats, you turn to your left and right, and yeah.
Got another question here.
Yeah, you said your mom made your regalia. How long does it take with all that intricate beating and different thing to create regalia like that?
Oh, wow. Could take 8.
Hold on, I'll bring you the mic.
So for my girls, everything they have on, I made everything. It can take months to put something together. If I have the time, I can make a dress in about a week. But the beadwork can take a while, especially I work, so I work on it when I have time. But we usually spend our winter months making things, putting things together. And they're at the age now where they help me, so they know how to do some of this stuff. Like this morning, I know one of the questions was, how long does it take to get ready? And they said it doesn't take long, but we were getting ready since about 7:15 and got here at like 9. So like it takes a while. Yeah. And somebody was sewing up their moccasins this morning too. So it's constant work and upkeep, and it's always good to teach the kids too how to work on their own things, because it takes a lot of time and effort to get them ready and put things together and keep them, even with new stuff. Like when I'm working on new things and when they grow, it's like you got to start all over.
Yeah.
So,
Do you guys thank your mom pretty often? I mean, thanks, Mom, for taking care of my stuff.
Brent and Luann, at United Tribes, it's a smaller campus, a pretty intimate setting, immersed in culture too. Like in our North Dakota University systems, any of those colleges, there are lots of different programs you can participate in, extracurricular activities, but culture isn't across the whole spectrum of activities like it is at United Tribes. Can you talk a little bit about how United Tribes approaches student development and student retention with culture being such a big part of what United Tribes develops?
Well, we have a full wellness department, with 3 counselors that kind of break up with different programs that we have in United Tribes. And I know, like, we have cultural nights, like we have every week, we have a sweat lodge where people can come, and that's open to everybody. You don't have to be Native American, but so people come in, and that's where they pray. That's where they, some students, when they come home, come from reservations to Bismarck, that's what they're used to. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a little heat box. It's like a sauna. Sauna. It's outside, and so we do things like that. We have cultural programs like storytelling during the winter months. We have during the summer like bowl making, different things for students to kind of really, I guess, feel like, you know, they're home yet and still learning cultural things.
And I can add to that a little bit, Tyler. So a lot of you that are in business could probably relate, but we've made a really, intentional effort to become a data-driven institution. So one of the things that came out of that with student surveys the past several years is that students want more cultural events. They want to learn about their culture. They want to learn about their language. So like Luann mentioned, we have a lot of different activities throughout the year. We have a Halloween powwow in the gym. We have a Valentine's Day round dance that's gotten really popular. Cultural speakers. We have a tribal arts program that's a part of our curriculum. And that was taught by Butch Thunderhawk, if anyone knows Butch. Butch retired after college has been open 52 years. I think Butch worked there for about 60. So he's pretty hard to replace. He's a, worldwide known artist. But those are the kind of things we offer. And then another kind of exciting development, the tribal colleges in North Dakota are working to become the North Dakota Tribal College System. So there's intentional effort for them to all work together. And then Luann mentioned language nights also. One challenge we have for language nights, if you think about just our governance at United Tribes, so we're governed by all the tribes in North Dakota. And so there's 5 tribes, and so all the tribal chairmen and then one other member consist of our board. And then they work with the president on a lot of things. But if you're going to teach language, for example, you have more, you can't just pick one language night. Just up at MHA Nation, you have, at least 3 languages, if not more. You have Chippewa up in Turtle Mountain. You have, different dialects of Sioux language, Lakota, Dakota. So that's one thing we're working towards it, but, how do we teach all of those languages and include an opportunity for all of them, because they're all different.
I'm just curious, I'm not a linguist at all, of course, but so like there's Latin languages, right, that kind of all have similarities, or they have the same origin point. Are native languages, do they have a root language that they come from, or are there not any overlap between them?
I don't know the answer.
No, not quite. No. Not quite overlap,
Yeah.
no.
I think there are probably some languages that have similar dialects, and then there's some that are totally different.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's especially challenging that way. No. Okay. Question in the middle here, Mark.
It's a very impressive event. I've seen it and I've been part of it. Speak to the impact. How many actual participants do you have competing? How big is the basketball tournament? I know the golf tournament is usually about 144 golfers. That's a max on there. But then I've played in I don't know how many softball tournaments and how many teams are part of that. I don't think people really realize the regional impact that this event has.
And I could take that one, Luann. I know most of those numbers. So we work with the chamber and with some other, I think NDSU did a study for us a couple years ago, but with all events, it's about 10,000 people participating and coming into the community. The hotels are all full. And I think the economic impact is about 3.8 million. Probably a lot more now if you adjust it for inflation. But yeah, so the powwow is the biggest event. And we keep track of how many wristbands you sell at the gate, right? And I think it was a little over 6,000 last year. The basketball tournament has actually gotten really popular. We had eight men's and seven women's team. And to give you an idea of the talent there, if you know who Trayson Eaglestaff is, he was Mr. Basketball. He played on a team and they got third.
Yeah.
So it was, I was actually sneaking over into the gym to watch the basketball games during the powwow. There were some pretty good games, and I think a team from South Dakota won, and kids from Four Winds got second. So, but yeah, good tournament. And then on the girls' side too, there was some really talented players. Legend softball, that's kind of exploded. They used Clem Kelly. I believe they had 120 teams last year, and they're expecting it to be bigger this year. So remember, the softball, that's a whole nother culture. Softball players are pretty fanatical with their, there's native and non-native teams, but we get teams from Minnesota, Nebraska, Canada, all over the region, and really a fun tournament, and all levels too, your higher level teams all the way down to your rec teams, men's, women's, co-ed, and masters. The golf tournament fills up, and then the Powwow Youth Day, I think we have 700 or 800 kids out there for that. And then back this year too, that we've kind of forgot to mention, the Tribal Leaders Summit. So that's Tuesday through Thursday. We're expecting 700 to 800 people attending that. We've partnered with some groups. There's going to be some sessions on food sovereignty, which is exciting. And then the summit committee's partnered with the Great Plains Tribal Chairman's Health Board, and they're having some meetings here, and then they're all going to be at the summit. As Luann mentioned earlier, healthcare is really a big issue in the tribal nations right now. With COVID, how do you deliver it, and are you ready for that? So Sanford's really been a good supporter of ours in regard to that.
This event definitely goes well beyond the powwow grounds there. That's
definitely. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Joe, question there.
Good morning. Thank you for being here and getting up so early to get dressed into the regalia. It's 7:15. It's pretty early in the morning to be waking up. Many years ago, when I was a college student at Central Michigan University, I had the opportunity to attend a powwow that was put on by the Saginaw Chippewa Band of Chippewa in Michigan. And that was a spectacular experience to be able to be a part of that. And I was kind of curious, not having the opportunity to go to many different powwows, are there different feels and styles to the powwow based on maybe the tribe that's sponsoring and putting it on and bringing it together, or are there some elements that are common, or can you speak to that a little bit? You said earlier there were so many powwows going on in such a short time. So if you were to attend so many different ones in the region, do you get exposed to so many different elements, or is there some overlap or commonality in attending those events?
Well, so beginning of the summer, I'll start with where I all went, because it was 13, 12, maybe 12 weekends in a row. So I started off at Four Bears here in North Dakota, up here in Newtown, which was a great contest powwow. Then I went down to Livingston, Texas. Then from Livingston, I shot all the way over to Muckleshoot, which was in Auburn, Washington. And then from there, I went back to Brockton. And then from Brockton, Montana, I went all the way back to Parshall. Then from Parshall, I went all the way back out to Utah. And then from Utah, I went all the way back to White Shield here in North Dakota. Then from White Shield, I went to Mandaree. From Mandaree, North Dakota, I went down to Spirit Lake, which is Fort Totten. And then from Fort Totten, I went all the way over to Fort Belknap, Montana. And then from Fort Belknap, I went all the way back to Twin Buttes, North Dakota. And then from Twin Buttes, I went all the way back to Little Shell, Antelope Society back in Newtown. And then after Little Shell, I went all the way back to Minnesota, over here in Shakopee. And now I'm here. I woke up at 5 to actually get here on time. I came down from Newtown. So, I mean, it's a lot of communities are seeing different dialects, different tribes, and there's always different feeds. So when you say you go to different communities, we're different hunters, so we're in different gatherers. So there's always different foods and different feeds at all the communities that you go to. When I was out in Washington, I had nothing but fish, like dried salmon and like smoked salmon. Like that's all we had when we were out there, like canned goods. That was really awesome. Fresh fruit. And when we come back here, there's always family feeds, and they always have like traditional home-cooked meals, soups. So there's like a lot of stuff that really goes on, like beyond the powwow. There's a lot of like, I would just say like a lot of family love, family-orientated love, because it goes way beyond, way beyond.
A lot of our dancers are you kind of go also, and singers go to, you know, like where the money is. I know like her mom's a champion dancer at numerous powwows and traveled. I mean, I'm sure she can that could be total income for her, you know, traveling like that. Some powwows, most of them are generally somewhat the same, you know, other than like food and whatnot. But like in the South, which you wouldn't really see in the North at all, is like they have women singers, right? You've seen that at Gathering of Nations, and like me, I mean, this is how I was raised, and mainly going to powwows here, you know, I'd probably stare like, oh my God, you know, it's different, you know, but it's all just something to learn about, and then, but mainly everyone kind of just travels all over the place. You don't have to, you know, be from around that area, that tribe and whatnot. Right now, a powwow that goes on during Tribes Weekend, well, there's two, one in Canada and the one in Sequan. But in Sequan, that's in California. They call like, it's all about like the head staff, you know, if you have a good head staff, the best of the best singers will come, the best of the best dancers will come. And we'll call on some head staff singers, and they're like, oh, we already got called to Sequan, you know, and so they're taking a lot of people from the north here down south, and then so then that's when we're like, oh, we need the community to help us out here. And
if anyone knows Rusty Gillette, I've known Rusty for a lot. Rusty's an arena director, and he's one of the best, and he gets called all over the U.S. and Canada, and he's probably even been international.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we kind of do. I mean, we're traditional. We're a contest powwow, and we kind of just keep in competition with each other.
Yeah. So that's one heck of a summer you had. I think next year, if you do that, you're gonna have to like video blog that or something. So that'd be really interesting to see all those different experiences you had over the summer. But Don, question down here.
I think my question might be a little easier, but so do you ever travel to powwows that you don't perform or compete at?
No, I don't. I can't remember the last time we just go to a powwow just to go, because we always dance and it's just good to have fun and be around your family and friends.
I danced as a kid, but I didn't. I tried to do traditional, and I got the leg cramp so bad, the calf cramp, and I was like, I'm done. I walked out of the circle. I go to as many powwows as I can, just to enjoy them, because I don't really get to enjoy United Tribes powwow. But just to sit back and, like I said, like, and you have your favorite dancers, it's so awesome to watch them compete at different powwows and follow them. Yeah.
And then like different tribes also have like different cultural events. So when I was at Fort Totten, I didn't go to sing that weekend. I didn't compete in the singing contest, but I did play moxen, and that's a traditional game that the men play amongst the Dakota. So I mean, like, there's weekends where you just do different things, or you just go and just relax.
Cool. So I think we heard, Luann, you said Friday night is grand entry night. So
Well, there's a grand entry Friday evening at 7 p.m. And then on Saturday, there's 2 grand entries at 1, and then 1 and 7, and then on Sunday at 1. There's 4 grand entries, but Friday night is the big one. Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
But if you've never been to the powwow, those would be the times if you're coming to the first powwow. 7, it's pretty easy. 7 and 1, 7 and 1 are the times, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that would be the best time to come and take everything in. And then it is, we didn't mention this, the wristband for the weekend is $25. It's $25 gets you in. You could come every day. You could come one time. And if you compare that to other, events you do in town, right, it's a pretty good value. And elders are free over 65. So, we do support that way, but it's a good value. And then the feeds they mentioned too, if you're from the public, MHA sponsors a feed, one of the tribes sponsor a feed, but the feeds are free. So they're making buffalo, and basically I think a lot of people that have, like, you just get in line, I'm like, we just get in line and we get fry bread, and and by the weekend I've burned off, or I've added all the calories I thought I burned off.
It's going to stay in the financial budget, but my caloric budget for the weekend.
Yeah.
So I guess last question before our last question: if you were to get one meal at the powwow, who has the best fry bread?
Ooh. Well, it's different because different vendors every year. We only have space like 15. Spaces, and so it's like first come first serve, so the vendors always kind of compete, but I'd say my favorite would be the buffalo feed on Sunday. Every year one of the 5 tribes do I purchase buffalo to them to do like roast. And
some of the vendors that come to our powwow too, they have pretty good names for their marketing, and they go to all the, there's that one stand there, they have really good food. And then there's another guy, Jeff, he's got Res Famous lemonade. And if you want to get Res Famous lemonade, you better be ready to wait in line, because there's usually about an hour. We've actually brought him out at some of like our back to campus events just to get lemonade for all the students and faculty.
He was in Kirkwood Mall for a bit too.
But yeah, he's got, and he like makes it, it's not like pre-made. I mean, he's like back there squeezing the lemons, right?
So we have to come back multiple days just for the food. It sounds like that might be, okay, well, we have our last question of the morning, and Kate, would you take that one?
Thank you guys so much for being here, and hopefully everybody goes out and checks out the powwow. We always ask the same last question to every presenter, and thanks, Mom, for being here as well. Take care of those kiddos. What can we as the Bismarck Man and 1 Million Cups community do to help you guys succeed and help the powwow?
I would say invite people to attend one or a few of the events. We have sponsorship available online. You can sponsor in any way possible. Yeah, and like I said, attend the events and be supportive of getting the word out, about, a lot of people think that powwows are for Native Americans only, which, no, they're open to everybody.
Yeah, and I would say, first off, would want to thank the community. We get a lot of support. So, the chamber helps us, and the CVB with, the hotels are all full, but they help us tremendously. And a lot of the local community. So and then we're getting more and more support every year.
Yep.
But I think the biggest thing is just come and enjoy it, and be there and learn about other cultures. I know I learn a lot every year. I learn new things every year, and I'll luckily have Luann with me, and I'll be like, what's that? What's going on? And she'll explain it to me. But yeah, and if you ever, get our contact info from Tyler, if you're not comfortable or just not sure what, I want to come, but what do I do? Call us. We'll meet you at a spot and walk you over and show you a few things and give you a quick tour. That's a lot of what we end up doing all weekend is, we get media and we get international, I gave a tour or kind of showed around a couple from Germany a couple of years ago, and they didn't speak English, so that was an interesting tour, but yeah, we're happy to do that and just kind of show you around, get you orientated, and then you can take it all in.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. It's an excellent event we have here in Bismarck. Let's hear it for them. And for Brett and Luann, this week especially, you got classes starting this week, got International Summit coming up, you got the powwow coming up. Just thank you so much for carving out time for us and for our performers here as well. Thank you guys so much. It's really, really special.
Tyler, we do have, you can't get away without getting a gift.
Awesome.
Luann, so we got a shirt for you here, a Thunderbird shirt.
Oh, nice.
So thank you for inviting us.
Thank you. This is good.
I brought a couple different
You got the right size, too.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, that's all we have for you this week. If you could slide me forward. Next week, we'll have the Bath Bakery, BB's Bath Bakery on stage. After that, we're looking at Almost Home Family Real Estate. And then the week after, we're taking September 14th off. Note that. And then Eden Med Spa on September 21st. So hope to see you back for those. That's all we got. Hope everybody has a great rest of the week.
Thank you.